Operating as a safety manager on an active industrial site is a high-stakes daily grind. You are managing dozens of hazards, competing deadlines, and immediate physical risks in real time. Many safety professionals eventually hit a career ceiling. The role plateaus, limiting these professionals to on-site enforcement instead of strategic leadership. Breaking through that ceiling requires a specific pivot, achieving the status of an OSHA Authorized Outreach Trainer. This credential allows you to transition away from the daily friction of on-site enforcement. It provides the authority needed for high-level leadership training and lucrative independent consulting. Earning that authorization requires navigating a rigid 5-phase pipeline. This process is designed to test your administrative precision every bit as much as your technical safety knowledge. Moving through these phases demands surviving a strict prerequisite verification process. The system actively filters candidates, ensuring only those with documented oversight experience can proceed. There is a hidden burden. Once you earn the trainer card, you are bound to a strict 5-year mandate for individual administrative compliance and record-keeping. Success in this career depends on mastering the paperwork pipeline, as it is the only reliable path toward a sustainable career as an independent safety consultant. The pipeline begins with a baseline standard, the OSHA 10 and 30-hour courses. While these are essential for the general workforce, they are only the starting line for a safety professional. The 10 and 30-hour classes are user-level introductions. Their primary goal is basic hazard recognition, teaching workers how to identify a dangerous trench or a missing guardrail. The first true professional step is Phase 1, completing the OSHA 510 course for the construction industry, or the OSHA 511 for general industry. The 510 and 511 courses focus on regulatory oversight and standard application, moving beyond the scope of simple hazard awareness. This transition requires you to process information differently. You move away from memorizing safety rules and begin interpreting the legal text of the Federal Register, specifically CFR 1926 and 1910. A trainer's authority comes directly from their ability to navigate these specific legal codes, cite them accurately, and apply them to ambiguous site conditions. Phases 1 and 2 exist to ensure a candidate is regulatory literate before stepping in front of a classroom to teach others. Without that interpretive foundation, a safety worker remains a mere enforcer of company policy, rather than an expert in federal standards. Phase 3 introduces the primary gatekeeping mechanism blocking entry into the OSHA 500 and 501 trainer courses, a strict 5-year experience requirement. This experience must be in dedicated safety oversight. You have to prove you were the one conducting site inspections, leading hazard analyses, and developing safety programs. The specific tool used to enforce this gatekeeping is the prerequisite verification form. This is the official prerequisite verification form from the Southeastern OSHA Training Institute Education Center. You must submit this document and have it approved by your specific education center before you are allowed to register for the trainer course. Looking at this related approval document, the blank text boxes under questions 3 through 6 illustrate the level of administrative detail the education centers require. You must explicitly document your materials, activities, and attendance strategies. Verifying your history requires providing direct contact information for previous employers. The reviewing committee can contact these individuals to confirm your past oversight responsibilities. There is a substitution rule that allows candidates to reduce that strict 5-year requirement. Section 40 outlines substitutions: a bachelor's degree in occupational safety, a CSP, or a CIH. These substitute exactly 2 years of the 5-year experience requirement. These substitutions require official proof. You must attach college transcripts or formal proof of professional certification to the submission package. The prerequisite verification form acts as a candidate's most critical administrative test. Failing to meticulously document your past prevents your future as a trainer. If prerequisites are approved, you enter Phase 4, the OSHA 500 or 501 trainer courses. Here, the focus shifts to adult education and presentation skills. To pass, every student must complete a mandatory teach-back. You must stand in front of the class and prove instructional skills through an evaluated presentation. Passing that final evaluation leads to the successful end state, physical possession of the authorized trainer card. This presentation slide from the Directorate of Training and Education outlines the strict rules governing that card. You must maintain physical possession of it and display it to students at the beginning of every outreach class you conduct. But the card also triggers a heavy individual liability, a strict 5-year record retention requirement for every class you teach. This administrative burden belongs solely to the trainer. Even if you teach internal classes for a corporation that keeps its own logs, OSHA holds you personally responsible for maintaining the original records. To survive an audit by your authorizing training organization, you must maintain a specific 7-part archive for 5 full years. First, you need daily sign-in sheets featuring printed names and full signatures, alongside detailed contact information for where each student's card will be mailed. Next are the timeline requirements. You must keep a detailed topic outline with minute-by-minute breakdowns of every session, as well as a copy of the official Outreach Training Program report. Finally, you must retain photocopies of the front and back of every completion card you issue, plus detailed qualification lists for any guest or assistant trainers you used. If your education center audits your files and finds any of these documents missing, you face corrective action, up to and including the complete revocation of your authorized trainer status. The status of an OSHA Authorized Trainer is a temporary license, dependent on constant, meticulous administrative discipline to avoid revocation. Surviving this administrative gauntlet brings us to the business end of the pipeline. Holding the trainer card is what enables you to establish a high-value, independent consulting practice. When you pair the OSHA Outreach Trainer authorization with advanced BCSP credentials, like the CSP, your market value compounds. You transition into a specialized consultant who can dictate their own rates. This is where your years of field experience become your greatest asset. You use those past hard lessons to connect dry regulations to the reality of the workers in your classroom through practical storytelling. You complete the transition from a site-level employee enforcing compliance to an expert actively shaping the safety culture of entire organizations. If you are aiming for that level of independence, start documenting your safety oversight hours and collecting your training records today. And subscribe to HSE Study for more deep dives into building a professional safety career. The OSHA Trainer Card is the engine of a high-independence career, but that engine only runs on the fuel of verified experience and flawless administrative compliance.